In 2021, we had a building blow over in a windstorm during construction. It was a bit of a disaster. I was actually on site with 2 of our employees, and we were getting close to finishing it. We had put the sidewall metal on one side earlier that day, and we just finished the sidewall on the other side, and we were just going to go around and start putting metal on the gable end. And it had been pretty windy that whole day, and all of a sudden there was a massive gust of wind. I remember saying to the guy standing beside me, wow, that was a lot of wind right there. That was a big gust. The second I said that, I heard this loud creak. We were standing under the lean-to, and within 5 seconds, the whole building just went down. It fell away from us, luckily. If we were on the other side, we'd have just been squished flat. There was a guy up inside the lean-to. He was doing the top of the metal, and he was in a man lift. The lean-to pulled him down in the man lift. He was smart enough to crouch right down it, and he just hung on and he rode it down. So we had no injuries. He climbed out and he was totally fine, but that whole shop was just laying there flat. The roof was sitting there on the ground, and the homeowners came running out, obviously very afraid that somebody could have been really badly hurt, and it was just luck or divine intervention that nobody was. There's a lot of processes put in place since then and that we've learned from it. We should have had the homeowner have construction insurance on the building, and they didn't at that time. We tried to put it through our insurance, and they wouldn't cover it. They only cover damage to something else. They would cover the fence that was damaged. They covered the genie lift that got wrecked, but they wouldn't cover the actual building, because all our insurance covers is the things that we damage on the property in the process of building, but it doesn't cover when, in this instance, a windstorm takes out the building. It's not actually insuring the actual building. So that's why it's super important as a homeowner, you do have the project insured with construction insurance. Another thing we learned is to put processes in place for the actual building. We'd had a subcontractor frame it. They'd braced it differently than we usually would, and so we'd removed a lot of braces that possibly, if they were left on, could have stopped the building from collapsing. Of course, we don't know that for sure, but it would have been better than having less braces like we did. So we learned that as well, to always follow a standard procedure when we're building it, and not to do it differently every time, not to rush, fly by the seat of our pants a bit. We've dialed that in a lot better and made sure that we are following the correct process when we're building. So what we did do is we actually ended up rebuilding that shop. It cost us $90,000 out of pocket to rebuild it. That was an expensive way to learn. It was a pretty miserable time for me. I don't know if I've ever went through such a low time before in my life where I just felt like I'd failed. I just remember the day that it fell down, just going home and feeling like, what am I gonna do? Like, I've messed up big time. It definitely wasn't very easy. I was glad I at least had a wife to go home to that could give me a hug. Some of our suppliers definitely helped us out a bit with that, as far as floating us for longer than normal. And we were able to actually repair the trusses. They weren't completely wrecked. We had the engineer design a fix for them. They were just broken in one spot where they'd landed on the foundation wall. And we added a few other things to the building to strengthen it when we built it back up. Definitely an experience that I would never want to experience again. It's something that we did learn a lot from. I wish we could have learned without having that experience, but we say you win some and you learn some, and we definitely learned in that case.